Club World Cup Group D, we've got Chelsea of England, Flamengo of Brazil, Esperance de Tunis of Tunisia, and LAFC of the United States. I said in my Group A preview that Inter Miami were the second most controversial team in the tournament. They were the most controversial until Club Leon were kicked out of the Club World Cup. And man, this is the most CONCACAF of CONCACAF tales because Club Leon had won the 2023 Champions Cup, and so they had earned the right to be in the tournament. Originally, they were drawn in alongside the rest of these teams, and then Alajuelense of Costa Rica launched a complaint to FIFA saying that Club Leon are owned by the Grupo Pachuca, which they are, and the Club World Cup rules state that you cannot have teams owned by the same ownership model. And so, because of that, FIFA has kicked out Club Leon. Why it was Club Leon and not Pachuca, I guess it's not specifically stated, but considering the group that owns them is called Grupo Pachuca, I don't think many people were surprised that Pachuca were the ones that got to stay in the Club World Cup, whilst Leon were the ones booted out. And if there are any Leon fans watching, I would ask how you feel about being owned by Grupo Pachuca when it seems, at least from this, like you are the second team in that group. Like, the ones who suffer the most from this are the Leon fans, many of whom who probably would have bought tickets to the games already and accommodation and whatnot. Like, that's just a massive shame because this is an opportunity for Leon fans to get to see their team compete at the world level, and for Leon it means they missed out on a massive windfall of cash now. So that's it's Leon who suffer from this. And I don't really know what to do with the multi-club ownership situation because it almost feels like this punishes the wrong person. I don't know. I don't think multi-club ownership is good, and so maybe it's good that FIFA has rules like that. I'd still feel really bad for Club Leon and their fans because that just sucks. It's kind of funny that Alajuelense managed to point out that there was a clear inconsistency in FIFA's rules and managed to mess things up for FIFA in a tournament that they've already tried to push really hard. It should be said that Alajuelense almost certainly did not do this out of sporting reasons or integrity reasons, but rather that they just wanted to be in the Club World Cup because in the FIFA rules, if there are two teams from the same country, unless more than two of them have won the Champions League or a cup, that only two teams are allowed to compete in the Club World Cup. So Alajuelense launched an appeal being the highest ranked CONCACAF team, not from the US or Mexico, who both had two teams in the tournament. But they didn't get to go in. Instead, FIFA brought in Club America or LAFC in a playoff, which, the skeptic in me says that FIFA chose those two for money reasons. Granted, they actually had some reason to choose them, with LAFC losing to Club Leon in the 2023 final and Club America being the highest ranked team in CONCACAF not in the tournament. So they at least had some justification there. Still, it feels a bit arbitrary in how they chose to have this playoff. And I have a feeling FIFA would have liked Club America to win because they would have brought a lot of fans and media presence. They are probably the biggest club in Mexico, so I'm sure that FIFA would have loved for Club America to be in the tournament. I don't know why they decided there needed to be a playoff, why they didn't just have the highest ranked team in, and also why a third American team is now in, which also seems inconsistent with the rules. But I mean, that's where we are now. LAFC's in. They have had a very little time to prepare. There's this all happened within a few months of the tournament starting. So LAFC have kind of just all of a sudden been given a spot in the Club World Cup, and they are an all right team. They've been one of the better sides in MLS and CONCACAF for the past few years. So you could even say this is somewhat earned. They're not as good this season as they have been in past times. They're currently 13th in the Supporters' Shield standings, so kind of middle of the pack, top but not quite very best of the mid-table. So they're not as good as they have been. I wonder if they'll at least be able to beat Esperance. Esperance have been consistently one of the best sides in Africa over the past few seasons. The issue is it feels like they've always been good, but there's also always been someone better. Most often, that team that's been better has been Al Ali, who they've lost to quite a few times since they last won the Champions League in 2019. But most recently, they were knocked out by Mamelodi Sundowns. Like, it's got to be a frustrating existence for Esperance fans who consistently get to see their team play very well and yet never quite managed to win the Champions League, not since 2019 again. So that's where Esperance are. I think LAFC and Esperance could be decently matched. I will go with LAFC this time and say they win the game. They've got some experience. I don't know. I could see that game going either way. So I'm not I say LAFC are the team I predict to win that game, but I wouldn't be surprised by any result in the match really. I think that Flamengo and Chelsea are probably going to be a pretty big favorites in this group. Flamengo produced the likes of Vinny Jr. and Paqueta recently. However, like pretty much every club in South America, they are not immune to having their best players taken by European teams, which is why Europe has suddenly become so dominant over South America. Because there was a time when South American teams would have been able to compete with European ones, where a World Cup for clubs would actually be very competitive between South American and European teams. That's not quite as much the case now because Flamengo, whilst being one of the better clubs in South America and Brazil, they've won the Libertadores in 2022 and 2019, and they are currently leading the Brasileiro. They still don't quite have the same firepower as European teams. They've also brought in the likes of Jorginho and Danilo for the Club World Cup, which they're not the only team to bring in old and experienced players. I've been fairly skeptical so far in the previews of old players, and I guess if I'm being consistent, I'd say that's I don't see Flamengo beating Chelsea. I don't think they'd beat Chelsea anyways. There is some merit to signing older players. Danilo and Jorginho both bring with them a lot of experience. I don't see them getting past Chelsea though, just because Chelsea have a lot more talent. I'd say they are coming off a Conference League championship, so Chelsea will be in high spirits, and they could have an outside shot at winning the tournament. They're not the favorites, but they're probably top five, one of the teams that could win. So they'll try and win too. Like Bully has been one of the bigger supporters of the Club World Cup, mainly because I'd say he wants to increase his business stakes, but he has been fairly vocal in support of the Club World Cup, and I have a feeling Chelsea are going to take it seriously enough to win the group and probably go fairly far. So Chelsea are the favorites in this group for sure. I should say that Chelsea and Flamengo should pass through fairly easily. Then LAFC and Esperance will be left to figure out the rest.